The worker's talking. Found him wandering years ago, half dead, no tags. Couldn't adopt him out, too skittish. But Jake's not hearing it. He's reaching through, hands shaking as Max licks his fingers, that sloppy, familiar hello. Tears are pouring now, hot and unstoppable, blurring everything. It's you, he chokes. You're still here, you crazy mutt. He turns to the worker, voice raw but firm. He's mine. I'm taking him home, now. Paperwork's a haze. Jake's signing, nodding, barely seeing the pages. He just needs Max back, needs to feel that weight against him again. The worker unlocks the cage. Max stumbles out, limping but alive, and buries his head in Jake's chest. Jake's sobbing, arms wrapped tight, whispering, "I'm so sorry I lost you." They hit the truck. Max hops in like he never left, claims the passenger seat, sticks his head out the window, tail still wagging despite the years. Jake's laughing through tears, one hand on the wheel, the other scratching those ears he missed so much. "Eve Gidior's Dostum, we're going home, buddy," he says, slipping into old words from a kid's promise. Back at the apartment, Max sniffs every inch, limps a bit, sniffs slower, but that spark's still there. Jake sits on the floor, pulls him close, buries his face in that scruffy fur, breathing him in. He can't know where Max has been. What cold nights he endured, what hands fed him or didn't, what scars hide under that coat. But it doesn't matter. He's here. Home. Jake whispers, "I thought I'd never see you again." And Max just leans into him, steady and sure. Days turn into a blur of joy. Max shadows Jake everywhere. Kitchen, couch, even the garage where he works, lying under the workbench like a loyal apprentice. Customers notice. Old guy with a busted muffler chuckles. "That your dog? Looks like he's been through it." Jake grins. "Yeah, and he's still kicking." He buys Max a plush bed, a shiny red collar, a mountain of treats. Spoils him. Silly. Nights, they crash together. Max's snores fill the silence Jake used to dread, his gray muzzle resting on Jake's arm. Jake wakes up sometimes just to watch him breathe, tears prickling as he thinks about all those lost years. He finds Max's old tennis ball in a box, faded, chewed up, and tosses it gentle. Max hobbles after it, tail wagging, and Jake's crying again, laughing, "You're still my champ." This isn't just a reunion, it's a lifeline. Jake lost Max and lost a piece of himself, carried that guilt, that ache, like a stone in his chest. He'd built a life around it, kept people at arm's length, afraid to feel that kind of hurt. Again. But Max coming back, it's like the universe handed him his heart on a leash, said, "Here, try again." Those eyes, older, wiser, look at Jake like no time passed, like every mile and year was just a detour back to him. Jake'll never know what Max went through, whose porch he slept under, what storms he weathered. But he knows this. Max remembered him. Through it all, that dog held on. So listeners, here's where you come in. What about you? Ever lost someone, furry or not, and felt that hole they left? Ever dreamed they'd walk back into your life, look at you like you're still there? Whole world, what would you do if they did? Drop it in the comments. I need your stories, every messy, beautiful word. Hit that heart if this tore you up, 'cause I'm over here wiping my eyes, trying to keep it together. Jake and Max, they're still at it, making up for every second they lost. Max is slower now, gray around the edges, takes his time sniffing the grass on their short walks. But those eyes, they still shine like they did when Jake was a kid dreaming of forever. Jake keeps that old collar beside the new one. Two pieces of a story he'll never let go. He'll tell you straight, losing Max shattered him, left him drifting in pieces. Finding him again, that glued him back together stronger than before. So if you're out there, missing someone, aching for them, keep your door cracked. You never know who might limp back home,
ready to heal you too.
Here's a question to stop you in your tracks. If your dog, the one you loved with every piece of your soul, the one you lost and cried over for years, showed up at your door one day, tail wagging like time never broke you apart, what would you do? Would you fall to your knees, sobbing, run to them arms wide, or just stand there, heart pounding, too afraid to believe it's real? Hold on to that feeling, 'cause this story's about to pull you in deep, and trust me, it's gonna leave a mark. Meet Jake and his dog Max. They were everything to each other. Picture a skinny kid with messy hair, maybe 10 years old, and this scruffy mutt with floppy ears and a grin that could melt ice. Max wasn't just a pet, he was Jake's lifeline. Growing up, Jake didn't fit in. Too quiet, too shy, the kid who'd rather read than kick a ball. Kids at school picked on him, left him out. But Max didn't care. That dog was there every day, waiting at the bus stop, tackling Jake with slobbery kisses, curling up beside him when the world felt too big. They'd spend hours in the backyard, Jake tossing a beat-up tennis ball, Max leaping like a champ, barking like it was the best game ever. Nights they'd crash on Jake's bed, Max's warm weight pressed against his legs, a steady heartbeat chasing away the loneliness. Max was his best friend, his only friend really, and Jake swore they'd be together forever, until that day. It's burned into Jake's memory, a crisp Saturday, sun high, leaves crunching underfoot. He's 15 now, taller but still that quiet kid, and he takes Max out to their spot, this wooded trail they'd hiked 100 times. Max is off-leash, bounding ahead, sniffing trails, chasing squirrels. Same old Max. Then, nothing. Jake blinks and he's gone. "Max!" he yells, voice cracking. Whistles sharp, runs till his lungs burn. Nothing. Panic claws at him. He's tearing through thorns, tripping over roots, screaming Max's name till it's just a rasp. Hours bleed into dusk. He stumbles home, tears streaking his dirt-smudged face, begging his parents to help. They search. Flyers go up, neighbors get calls. Jake's out there every dawn with a flashlight, voice hoarse, hope fraying. Weeks turn into months. No paw prints, no jingle of a collar, no Max. Just silence where his barks used to be, Jake's. Room feels empty without that furry shadow. He stops sleeping, just stares at the ceiling, clutching Max's old chew toy, whispering, "Where'd you go, buddy?" Time drags on. 5 long years. Jake's not that kid anymore. He's grown, up, moved to a new city, works at a garage fixing engines, lives in a cramped apartment with stained carpet and too many takeout boxes. He's surviving, cracks jokes with the guys at work, pays his bills. But there's this hollow spot inside him, this scar Max left behind. His mom mailed him Max's collar a while back, faded red, a little frayed, and it sits on his dresser, untouched, a ghost he can't bury. He's tried to move on, tells himself Max is gone, maybe hit by a car, maybe taken in somewhere far off, but every quiet night, he hears those phantom barks, sees those brown eyes in his dreams. He's accepted the loss, or so he thinks, until one random Thursday night flips his whole world upside down. Jake's sprawled on the couch, scrolling his phone, eyes blurry from a long shift, when he stumbles on this post, a shelter 20 miles out, some stray they can't place. He's about to swipe past, but wait. The photo. It's grainy, the dog's matted and thin, but those eyes, big, brown, soulful, with that spark he'd know blind. His heart slams against his ribs. "No way," he mutters, zooming in, hands shaking so bad he nearly drops the phone. The fur's graying, the face worn. But those eyes, they're Max's. He's up in a flash, grabs his keys, forgets his jacket, bolts to his truck. Tires squeal as he peels out, mind racing, hope crashing into doubt, fear tangling with this wild, desperate need. It can't be, he thinks, but what if it is? He hits the shelter just as they're locking up, pounds the gate till a worker cracks it open, annoyed. "I saw your post," he gasps, shoving his phone at her, screen glowing with that photo. She shrugs, leads him back through a maze of kennels, dogs barking, tails thumping, till they reach this small cage. In the corner, Jake's chest is a drum, palms slick with sweat. The dog's curled up tight on a thin blanket, head down, looking old and tired. Then it looks up. Time freezes. Those eyes meet his, and it's like a dam breaks. 5 years of grief, longing, love flood through him. The dog's head tilts, ears twitch, and then, oh God, its tail starts thumping, fast and wild, that same goofy wag from a lifetime ago. Jake drops to his knees, voice breaking. "Max? Buddy, is it you?" The dog, grayer, slower, a little wobbly, scrambles up, presses against the bars, whining like he's been holding that sound in for years.